Let's get started. The topic of this video is leveraging TA.com for your design needs. If you are a designer and if you are looking for a product development and you would like to use TA components for your design, this video will help you to understand what are all the resources available on TA.com and how to use them effectively for your design needs. Let's talk about the agenda for this session. So I am going to walk through the three agenda for this video. The first one, we will talk about the product lifecycle for a typical product development, and we will walk through with TA.com on each and every stages of the product design. We will also have an analogy with the system block diagram and how to use TA.com to select the parts for your system need. And the third topic, we will talk about some of the tools and support available on TA.com if you are stuck in different stages of your design. Let's see the product lifecycle for a typical product. I had broadly classified into several steps. It starts with the product idea or the concept definition, followed by the system architecture. Once you decide on the system architecture, you will get into the hardware and software design, followed by the prototyping. Once the prototyping is done, you will look into the testing and validation phase, and the product is being proven, you will go for the production. So these are the various stages for a typical product lifecycle. There could be sub stages, or it could be a little bit of hardware which doesn't involve software. Then the software design stage will not be there, but this is a typical flow what you will see in a product lifecycle. The other way to look into it for a system block diagram, typically how it will look like and what are the different sub blocks inside a system block diagram. Any product what you would like to design will fit under the generic system block diagram what is shown in the right hand side of this video. So basically it all starts with the real world inputs. It could be audio, video, or it could be humidity, sound. It could be any real world inputs which will be coming into your system, and this system is going to process those signals, and you will take some kind of decisions, or you are going to take a kind of logging, anything, and then you will be basically sent out back to the real world. Based on the real world inputs and outputs, you would need an analog circuit like op-amp, ADCs, DAC, op-amps for driving the outputs, or it could be a pure digital input and output for your system. And if your system needs a interface, or it could be a wireless connectivity, depends on your system needs. You would need all these sub blocks, or you would need few of these blocks. But the core could be an embedded processing, or your system can be a pure analog system also. But typically the embedded processing is going to be a core area for most of the products what you will be building on. Irrespective of any of these blocks are present or not, the key one which will be always there in any subsystem is going to be the power supply and its management. It could be the battery, or it could be the gauge, it could be the DC-DC, or it could be an LDO. This will be a key component in any of your design, and irrespective of what kind of design you are, without power it will be very difficult to design. Let's move on. I'm not going to talk about more onto the product idea or the concept definition phase, which is your child, right? So you think about something about a product. It could be solving some of the real life challenges, or it could be an upgrade to an existing product, or it could be a really an innovation one, which is not an existing product, right? So I'm just leaving that particular section of the product lifecycle to the designers. Once you decide on the product idea, the next step is how do you derive the system architecture for your product idea. So that's where TA.com will help you to derive the system architecture. Let's see how it does. Any system, if you are planning to build, is going to solve some of the real life problems, and it will fall in any of the categories we broadly call as an end segment. You may be designing a product for automotive, or you may be designing a product for personal electronics, or you may be designing a product for industrial. So we broadly classify them as end segments, right? Once you decided on what kind of end segment your product fits in, it will be easy for you to look into the resources available for that particular end segment and the end product. The place where you can look for that in TA.com is into the applications folder on TA.com. I'm just going to switch for a moment to the browser page to show you how exactly you can navigate on TA.com to get into the right page where you can find more information to derive the system architecture. So if you type www.ta.com, this will be your home page. So the page for our interest lies here. Click on the applications. You will find broadly the end segments as automotive, communication equipment, enterprise systems, industrial, personal electronics. So if you know what kind of end segment you are working on for your product, you can get into those segments and you can find out whether you get a close end equipment for your product. I'm just going to show you with one example on a building automation and what kind of information you will see on a building automation. The same thing, you can find it on medical, you can find it on automotive too. Let's click on the building automation. On the building automation segment page, you will find a lot of end equipment listed on the page. For example, let's take you are building a product which helps solving some of the problems what is there in the existing door and window sensor. Let's click on those page. You will get into the door and window sensor page. Here you will find description, reference designs, technical documents, and the support page. The interest for you would be the block diagram. So typically for a door and window sensor, the block diagram will be like this. If you are designing a product similar to this, you can use this subsystem as a reference to derive your system architecture. And this is not a diagram which is, I would say, which is not passive, and it's a very dynamic and interactive one. If you click on any subsystems, you would see that the right hand side, the products and the reference designs get refreshed. If you wanted to design a product which needs a hall sensor and inductive sensor, you will find the relevant products on the right hand side, and if there are any designs available to them, you will find it on the reference designs page. So this will be a handy page for you to derive the system architecture for your product. You will also find related applications on the bottom of the page, and you can also navigate to those subsystems too. A lot of technical documentations will be on the bottom of the pages, which you can always navigate, understand the system better, and derive your system architecture. I will also quickly navigate to the another end equipment wherein it's an electronic smart lock. I just wanted to highlight it here because I wanted to show you there is another feature which you may be seeing it in the block diagram page. Select a subsystem. Basically, the electronic smart lock can be a wired or wireless. So the block diagram for wired smart door access control and wireless smart door access control is pretty different. So if you are designing a product with wireless, then you can drop down with wireless motor access control, and you can find all the relevant blocks populating on the block diagram, and you can always navigate to find the relevant products and the relevant reference designs for your product. Hope it's clear. Let's move back to the presentation. Next, we are going to talk about the hardware design portion for the product lifecycle. Hardware design is an important aspect wherein you will be deciding on the part selection for your design, right? So the key decision for the product is to look into how your system block diagram looks like based on the architecture you derived, and the next thing you will look into it is for the products. So for TI, where do you find the products for each and every subsystem of your block diagram? You should look for the products page on ti.com, and pretty much the product page will have the similar naming conventions on the products. For example, op-amps comes under the amplifiers portfolio, DACs, ADCs comes under the data converters, embedded processing comes under microcontroller and processors, power management comes into the power management. So this is the page you have to look for if you wanted to narrow down to a specific product or your subsystem. Let me jump back to the browser to show you how you can use this product page for filtering out a product. At any point, if you are navigating, you have to go back to the home page, click on the logo, you should be able to go back to your home page. So the product for our interest lies here. Let's take an example. I wanted to pick op-amp for my load sensor or something like that. Just click on the amplifiers. You will be going to the portfolio page for the amplifiers. Here you will find a lot of information on the home page, but in case if you wanted to go with the product tree architecture, you can always go through the product tree to filter out the pages. But if you don't know how to navigate on that, you have the featured products page and the design challenges of our amplifiers. These are all general informations, but if you wanted to pick an op-amp, straight away you can click the op-amps on the product tree. So this is the page which you will look for the op-amps selection. Here we have some options for one-click search. Like if you are looking for a smaller size op-amps, you can click this. We have 102 products here. If you don't know anything on what kind of op amps you are looking for, but you rather wanted to do a search based on the supply voltages, based on the bandwidth, based on the gain, based on the offset, what you're looking for, straight away you can jump into the products page. Here again, we will have the same quick search options like low power, low offset, cost optimized, low noise, and all on the quick search page. Or you can also pick the op amps based on the circuit function. If you are designing a transimpedance amplifier, you can click it so that the op amps which can be used for a transimpedance amplifier will be populated here. Or you can go with the parametric search. So you will have the filters on the left hand side wherein you can choose how many op amps you wanted, how many channels you wanted it. If you wanted only dual op amp, you put dual 2 you'll be able to filter all the dual op amps. You can also filter based on the supply voltage ranges what you're looking for. So you can keep going on with what kind of features you're looking for an op amp, and finally you will have a list of parts matching your spec and it will be populated here. If you see something like this will be a new product launched from TI in the last 6 months, which will be highlighted. Right, so in this case LM358B is a new cost optimized op amp to a traditional LM358 with a lot of spec enhancements done on this part. So once you decided on the op amp and you would like to see more details about it, you can always go to the online view datasheet, or you can also download the datasheet and go through the specs. This will help you to narrow down the part selection. So once you decided on the product, the next thing you would like to do is to see what are the design parameters I have to look for the specific product and how to design the product. So TI.com helps you with some of the tools to support you with your hardware design. TI.com also provide you with a lot of design resources on TI.com to help you design a circuit for your specific requirement. So those design resources will be put under design resources page on TI.com. Let me jump back to the browser and show what are the design resources available for you for your hardware design. Let me go back to the home page. So you will find a design resources tab here, right? So there is the design resources page will be the one-stop destination for all your design resources. So you will have reference designs wherein you can navigate with the proven reference designs based on the end equipments what you see here, or you can straight away jump to the design tools and simulations. Basically, what are these tools? So we have models and simulators put it at a specific location. We have a WebBench Power Designer. This will be the one-stop destination for all your power supply design. And also we do have a Power Stage Designer, Power for Processors and FPGAs. If you're designing an op-amp filters, Filter Designer will help you to do that. If you're doing any generic analog circuits and you wanted to have an idea about how to design an analog circuit for a specific function, you can always go through the Analog Circuits tab. Let me click on the Design and Tools and Simulation page. It will populate the same tabs what you see there, right? So the key thing, if you're really designing an analog product and you would like to simulate the performance before designing on the circuit, we have Models and Simulators page. So Models and Simulators page will help you to design a circuit and simulate it, the performance like low transient response or the frequency response or time domain analysis, whatever you wanted for an op amp or for an DC-DC power supplies. You can always use these models and simulators, and then you can design a product and simulate a product and see how the performance at different temperatures, different extreme conditions before actually building a product. TI-TINA is an equivalent to the PSpice or Cadence PSpice tool, which is a paid tool, but TI-TINA is a free tool available for everyone to download, and you should be able to do the similar kind of functionality without any issue. I think to download this you need a my.ti login. In homepage you will see a my.ti button there. Before starting anything on ti.com, I would encourage you to register on my.ti and then start browsing it. So I'm not downloading the TINA TI, but you can always get it downloaded and try playing around with the examples. So please look into all these tools for your design. For example, if you're looking into the power design, you can also start designing with the WebBench. You can feed the inputs, outputs, you can view the designs, and then you can pick the design based on the cost, based on the efficiency, based on the footprint, and then a tool will help you design it for you. I'm not designing it, but I'm just going to pick some random examples what I did in the past. So after you design a power supply, typically the page will look like this. Okay, so you have a summary tab wherein you can see what is the efficiency for your design, what is the typical BOM cost for a design, and what is the footprint it is going to take. And you will also have the configuration options where you can play around to change it after the design is created. Right. This tool also gives you the schematic, PCB layout, bill of materials. Once you finalize on the components like passives, what you wanted to use and what are the components power supply you wanted to use, you can always see how the performance will be for that circuit. So we have few simulations available like the startup response, low transient response, input transient response, steady state, and two-step startup. So play around with this tool and simulate this, and you can make sure that the system works well for your design. Once that is done, you can always export the design into the popular standard CAD tools like Altium, Cadence, T18 for further simulation if you want, Metro Graphics, PCAD. This is cool because you don't need to really redo the same circuit manually. You can always use this tool to export it, and you can always append it to your existing design. Let me go back to TA.com. So other thing I wanted to highlight is the filter designer tool, because you may be designing a lot of op-amp based circuits. So this tool will help you to design the filter. So you can see few tabs like low pass, high pass, band stop, all pass. So if you wanted to design a low pass, you can quickly go to this tab. You can decide what is the pass band frequency cutoff you wanted it. You wanted what is the ripple available needed. What would be the stop band cutoff frequencies? Say for example, I'm just going to put 300 hertz. And what is the attenuation you're expecting at the stop band, right? So you can feed all these data, and once you press enter, you can see what are the filters available and what kind of stages you need it and what is the order of the filter. So let's take Butterworth for example, and then I'm going to pick this, select, right? So you have same topologies, silent key and multiple feedback, whatever you wanted it, you can pick it. This is for the first order, this is for the second order, and you once you click the create design, it also picks the part based on the bandwidth requirements and based on the other parameters what you put in. It will also pick the part. That way it will help you to decide on quickly what kind of op-amp will be suitable for my filter. You will always have an option to choose an alternate op-amp based on the specs what you are looking for. Again, in this tool also, it allows you to export the design to T18 and you can further modify the design and simulate it. Let me go back to TA.com again. If your product involves some kind of high-end processors and FPGAs and you would like to design the power supply for those processors and FPGAs, below is the link which will help you to design the power supply for the processors and FPGAs. Other option is to download the evaluation board schematics for the specific processor, find out how the power supply is being designed for it and try to use it. I think I covered most of the design tools and simulations. Let us go back to the slide. So once you decide on what kind of components you're going to use and what kind of performance on the simulation it will provide, the next step is to actually make the real schematics using the EDA tools. So for the components what you have selected on TA.com, you may need to create the footprint, and then you can use those footprints for creating the schematics as well as the layout, right? How TA.com will help you to quickly create those symbols and footprints which is needed for the circuit. I just wanted to walk you through with an example so that you will know where exactly to find those data. Let us put some part. So once you search for the specific part what you wanted and for which you need a symbol and footprint, you can go into the quality and packaging tab, and if you scroll down you will see a CAD CAE symbols there. But you will be surprised to see that there will not be any mentioning of ORCAD, Altium or Mentor Graphics or whatever be there. We always provide a file which is .bxl. And if you see in the right hand side, we provide an instruction on how to use this bxl file and create footprints and symbols based on the tools what you are currently using. Please follow these steps and you should be able to get the symbols and footprints for the EDA tools what you are using. So if you are on a product folder page, the home page is this. You have to go to the quality and packaging tab and scroll down. You should find the CAD and CA symbols for that specific device and the specific package. Let me go back to the slide again. Next, we are going to talk about the software design. So if your hardware involves software also, where to look for the relevant software on ta.com. So this is the link you may need to go through. But if you go inside this link, you will find three categories like hardware kits and boards, Code Composer Studio, and other development tools. And you will have an embedded software. For any software design, you need these three. So how it will be used? The hardware kits and boards are nothing but the evaluation boards for the embedded processors or the embedded microcontrollers, which you may need to use it even before designing the hardware to validate your software. So all those available hardware kits and boards will be seen here. And the next tab is on the software design environment available from ti.com for doing your software. And the third one is the SDKs, basically software development kits. For any processors and microcontrollers, TI provides SDKs. So if you are designing an MSP430 based things, we provide an SDK for MSP430 MCUs. If you are designing a BLE module or a Bluetooth module, you will have an SDK for that. So where to find and what is available for all these things, this is the page you have to go through and find out what is available readily from ti.com for your software development needs. Let's go back to that browser page to see how to access the same. Under the design resources, you will find a tab for embedded development. You will see what I was explaining, right? So hardware development kits and boards, if you get inside, you will find for MSP430, for Simple Link MCU, for C2000, for Citara. Let me click into the Simple Link MCU, right? So Simple Link MCU is more like a connectivity MCUs we have in ti.com, which can be used for implementing wired protocols, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, sub-1 GHz, Zigbee, multi-standard. Let's jump into Bluetooth. You will find what are the tools available for development based on Bluetooth. I'm not going in detail, but once you know what kind of end equipment and what kind of embedded processor you would like to use, you can always navigate through this tool to know what are the ready-to-use kits available from ti.com. The next thing is the Code Composer Studio. It's an integrated development environment for most of the embedded processors in TI, right? So if you'd like to see what are the development tools available and the compilers available from ti.com, this is the page you can walk through. Most of them are integrated right now into the Code Composer Studio, which is a desktop version. If you wanted an offline version, you can always download this and it's fully free. You can always download this and install it in your desktop. If your desktop or the laptop is of little bit lower performance and the compiler takes a lot of time to compile your product, we also provide a cloud-based Code Composer Studio, which you can use it using a browser. The compilation and other things runs on our server and it will be pretty faster for you, and you don't need any extra space onto your laptop or hard disk. It's going to be a pure cloud-based compilation. You will also find other small tools there, which you can find out more information by clicking on those pages. Let me go back. Let us spend few minutes on the SDK. This where you would like to know more on what kind of SDKs are available and what kind of versions there and how I can use it. Let me go back to the same Bluetooth example so that it will be easy for you to understand. And I'm going to design a Bluetooth based system. Let me click under the Bluetooth, right? So this is the SDKs right now available for Bluetooth. So based on what kind of device you are going to use, you can find more information on the SDK by clicking on this, and you should be able to get the software downloaded from this page. Once you install the SDK, the relevant documents and what are the release documents, enhancements, everything will be on the installation folder, which you can go through. So let me jump back to the slide and see what else we have. So this is a place where you can find and navigate and find what is available on what platform kind of thing. But if you have decided on a specific processor or a microcontroller and you wanted to download the relevant software only for that rather than navigating and finding out where exactly is that, the easiest way to look is into the product folder. Let me go back to the MSP430 example. See, this is the one which I'm planning to use, and I wanted to see what is the ready to use software available for this platform. Go to the product folder, go to the design and development tab. I hope you are able to see this. Design and development tab. If you go down, you will find the relevant softwares sitting here. One is the example codes, which can be the peripheral example codes for UART, GPU or SPI or anything like that. All the peripheral example codes will be available here. MSP430ware is the SDK for the MSP430. Bootloader libraries here, math libraries here, right? So these are the software needed for your particular controller. And what are the tools are needed for it and what are the tools available for it? If you see, you can find the Code Composer Studio, which is the compiler environment for this kit. You have the gang programmer, flash programmer, right? And there are some simulation circuits available here. And for this particular event, we do have a TINA design, right? So if you know what kind of controller or what kind of processor you are planning to use, it's easy to find the software under design and development. Let me go back. Right. So we are coming back for prototyping. You have done the hardware, you have done the circuit, you have done the layout. The next step is to make the PCB and procure the components for it. So that's the prototyping stage. So how TA.com can help you on this stage? So TA.com allows you to order samples, also buy tools and ICs quickly without going to any other third-party sites for buying, right? So if you go to ta.com/store, it directs you to the TA store wherein you should be able to buy as well as request samples. Let me show you how the page looks like. Let me go to order now. If you go to the right side, you find a TA store. If you go to TA store, you should be able to search by part number. You can put the generic part number, it will throw up the packages and what is available, and you have a link to the datasheet just in case if you wanted to verify that that's the right one. The good thing about the recent modifications we have done is the availability tab also. So you should be able to find out how much quantities are right now available on TA store and you can place an order based on it, right? So this is cool. So you should be able to buy all the parts what is needed for TI design using this page, and it's pretty fast. Once you place an order and if all these parts are available, it gets shipped in 1 or 2 days. You can also buy launch pads, right? If you put any generic part number and you will find an EVM available, you can always buy an EVM through this page also, right? So this is the EVM and these are the parts. Okay. So once the prototyping is done, the next phase is going to be the testing and validation phase. So the testing and validation phase is purely in your control, and you are going to test your platform and you are going to validate the platform. How TA.com can help you on testing and validation phase is through the support model available on TA.com. Let me show you what are the resources available on TA.com to help you during the testing and validation. So we have a tool. If you have stuck with any problems and you would like to know how to reach out to TI, this is the place, right? Search by the part number. It will directly go to the need help page wherein you can find some of the questions already been raised in the community. If you want answers from TI expert for that specific device and for your specific problem, click on that. It will be navigating to the E2E page and you will find a lot of questions posted by the worldwide community on this forum. And you can, for example, if you are facing a problem with the ADC of this particular device, you can always use the keyword to search by the ADC, right? So you will find answers on specific queries. You may also have the same problem, say for example, multiple ADC channels reading to this device if you have an issue. And if there is already a question and it's answered, you can always navigate to this post to find the relevant answer and see if it is solving your problem. Let's assume that it is not solving your problem. You can always post a new query, ask a new question here, or if you wanted a relevant question to be posted for the same thing, you can click into the post and you can always ask a related question, or you can always ask a new question in this page. So all technical support on ta.com is available directly on e2e.ta.com, and typically our response time on this page is 1 to 2 days, and depends on the geography. You may get a response in few hours also. Let me go back to the slide again. Yep. So we are not going to talk about the production support. We do have informations on that, what we can help you out on production. For example, we have a quality and reliability page wherein you can find the quality informations if you're really building a product and what kind of quality data is available for a specific product, like the MTBF estimator, or if you wanted to have the ROHS, lead-free content, all those data related to the productions for your product, you can find it on quality and reliability pages, right? Feel free to navigate if you're really building a product and you wanted to have some kind of quality information from ta.com. This is the page you have to look for. What else we have to help you design the product effectively using ta.com, right? So pretty much we navigated to most of these tabs here. I just wanted to show you products page for your part selection, applications page for designing your system architecture, design resources which will be helpful for doing your hardware design and software design, quality and reliability pages specifically for production related informations like ROHS, lead free, material content, or MTBF estimations or reliability data. And we talked about support and training. In any phase of your stage, if you stuck while designing a product or while testing the product, this is the page. You can type the part number, it will divert back to e2e.ta.com, wherein you can look for answers or you can post a query so that our technical team will respond to you back, right? So the other things what is of interest for you would be the training and videos. These are all very short videos and very technical videos which is available on ta.com. Let me take MSP 430 for example, right? So you will find all the videos available here, right? You can see a lot of getting started videos available, right? Which will help you to quickly evaluate your launchpad if you are procured. Or for example, if you are working on a TA ATAS, what is TA ATAS and how to use the TA ATAS. All these things, one way to quickly learn is through listening to these videos. The other way is obviously you will have enough documentation for these things which you can always read and try this. But this will be a quick video presentations available on training which will help you to quickly jumpstart on the design. So other thing I would like to highlight here is on the power supply design seminars archive as well as the tech dive archives. So TI does a lot of presentations and seminars and we upload those technical content on these tabs. So you can always find all those archives for the last several decades in these tabs, right? This is purely a technical learning one specifically designed for analog. It's called TI Precision Labs. So if you wanted to know more on that, I would strongly encourage you to see the videos on these Precision Labs, right? Feel free to do this. This is more from the learning aspect. Yeah, pretty much I covered most of the training videos things here. So the request samples is one which is available for users on my.ti and they are registered with company domains or university domains email IDs. It is not available for the my.ti users who are with the Gmail ID or Yahoo IDs. Let me go back to the agenda. Pretty much I covered what I would like to cover on this short video, right? The links which you need to remember for designing your product needs. The main thing is www.ta.com, and if you can navigate in a right way, you should be able to get the relevant informations. If you're stuck at any point on your design, the main link which you need to know about is e2e.ai.com, where you can find a lot of answers already available, and you are also able to post your new queries and get answered. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.